So we're looking at a temperature of 86 degrees outside right now, and 93% feels like temperature. So clearly we're on our way again today to about another 100-degree feels like temperature. Dew point value is at 73. Like to see it get back down to around 67 degrees. That would be kind of nice, like we had day before yesterday. And we may do that tomorrow. We'll see how it goes, but we certainly have some drier air moving in, and perhaps some of it will filter down closer to the surface. 86 is just about exactly where we were yesterday. Dew point values are, for all intents and purposes, about the same. Not much difference really, except wind speeds are up just a little bit, so we won't catch much of a sea breeze today. 20%, that's the best we'll do. Chance for showers. Aloft, the air is drier, and we're starting to see some of that drier air kind of limit the number of storms developing over on the other coast. We'll reduce the rain chance by 7 p.m. as the heating of the day goes away and that drier air continues to filter in to only about 10% of that. And during the overnight, should be a beautiful night tonight. Just a absolutely gorgeous starry sky. So a few scattered showers, light stuff, nothing heavy, no thunderstorms over on the other coast, gradually drifting in this direction, but really not a whole lot of potential here for showers and thunderstorms. Yesterday, we had some humid air indicated here by these red contours on our precipitable water map. This is the moisture available for rainfall in the atmosphere. And it really is not that impressive today over the state of Florida. In this graphic, redder is wetter. And the moist air that we had yesterday rapidly moving out into Gulf waters, being replaced by the cooler blue contours of dry air. And that'll be with us not only today, but tomorrow as well. And probably even on Sunday, it won't have much of a chance of rainfall with that dry air in place. There may be some periods of little bits of slugs of moist air, but nothing quite so much as we had yesterday. Yesterday was probably the best rainfall day of the entire week, and we didn't get a whole lot then. High pressure stays with us, directing our winds generally out of the east right through the weekend, but a series of little low pressure areas and fronts will eventually nudge that high out into the Atlantic by by Monday or Tuesday. When that happens, it starts to twist our winds around more to the south. And when we get that southerly twist in our winds starting next week, that will begin to change things dramatically for our weather. I'll show you why in a second. Mostly sunny, warm and dry, basically, today with only an isolated shower. Shifting winds next week. We'll get through the weekend, I think, with that easterly wind flow, good for the red tide sufferers. And we're monitoring the tropics. The east wind shifting to the south and the tropics developing could have impact on the weather next week. You'll watch the Futurecast pick up a few showers during the late afternoon, sling them back toward the coast, and then we're left with a pretty quiet overnight into Saturday morning. So what's going on in the tropics? Well, we have this one area right down here that gives us concern. Computer models are kind of in agreement that there might be some development occurring here as it lifts northward up toward the Gulf waters. And in fact, the Hurricane Center has upped the chances now to 30% development over 2 days, but 60% over the 5-day period. And computer models are all kind of agreeing that it's going to move toward the Gulf waters and leave the Atlantic side of our peninsula alone. As it moves northward, there is some agreement also in computer models that we could see some development, maybe into a tropical cyclone. If it becomes a tropical depression or a tropical storm, especially if it becomes a tropical storm, we'll have to watch it very carefully. Although I don't think this would be a big windstorm for the Florida, it could be a big wet storm for Florida. We're maybe seeing a little bit of development right here in terms of a low pressure area. But certainly as it lifts northward, it will spread its moisture across the peninsula and bring us good chances of rain. In this model, it does develop it into a tropical cyclone. In fact, it develops it into a tropical storm. If it did develop, it would be called Michael. So we'll be watching for that next week. In any event, I think the big thing would be a rain-producing storm. It'll cause our rain chances to go up next week. 10 knot winds today, becoming a little breezy in the afternoon, 10 to 15 tonight, about 15 steady. And the forecast calls for that 20% chance of storms today with a high of about 92, 91 or 2. Tomorrow, about 90, with not much chance of rainfall whatsoever. On Sunday, we'll up the rain chance a bit, and then starting next week, we're going to be watching the tropics very carefully and boosting our rain chances Wednesday into Thursday up to about 60 or 70%, or maybe even more. Scott?